They came to class expecting another dull lecture on dangerous creatures from distant planets. The kind of stories that made you shiver, but still felt far away safe behind textbook pages and holograms. The instructor, a seasoned xenobiologist, clicked through terrifying images, acid-spitting reptiles, razor-winged flyers, and the infamous predators of Earth, a planet so deadly it was classified as a Class 5 death world. But as the lesson turned to the most dangerous species of all humans, no one noticed the quiet figure sitting in the back. Not a hologram, not a projection. A real one. He said nothing at first, just listened as the instructor described his kind as monsters, adaptable, unrelenting, and terrifying. The students laughed nervously, whispered among themselves. Some even scooted away from the human-shaped shadow in their midst without realizing why. They didn't know who he was, not yet. But they were about to learn that the galaxy's most feared predator wasn't just real. He was in the room, and he had something to say. The lecture begins. Corvallis Prime was a jewel of the Galactic Federation, a planet built for peace, education, and scientific advancement. Its capital city, Ventilar, housed the prestigious Interstellar Institute of Biological Studies, where the galaxy's brightest minds came to learn about life across the stars. The classroom buzzed with quiet anticipation. Holoscreens shimmered. Seats adjusted to accommodate students of varying physiology. From the six-limbed Grelkins to the floating Solari, the diversity in the room was a testament to the Federation's unity. But one student stood out, despite his efforts to remain unnoticed. Marcus Hayes, a human from Earth, sat at the back of the room. Dressed in the standard gray uniform of an exchange cadet, he observed silently. His frame was average by human standards, but appeared almost compact and dense compared to the more slender species around him. He listened intently as instructor. Threx, a veteran Plixer biologist, began the day's lecture. Today we examine the ecosystem of Class 5 death worlds, Threx began, his voice echoing with authority. Such planets are considered the most hostile to life. Yet some, incredibly, are home to sentient species. A murmuring ripple passed through the class. Everyone knew what was coming. "Let us discuss Earth," Threx said, triggering the holo projector. A rotating image of the blue-green planet appeared. Designated Deathworld 5X by the Federation. A planet teeming with predators, extreme weather, and chemical instability. Yet, somehow humans emerged. Earth, the Deathworld, slides shifted. Rapidly, Earth's biosphere unfolded in full detail. The class watched as lightning storms scorched forests, volcanoes belched smoke, and oceans churned with megafauna. "Consider the crocodile," Threx said. A creature with biological lineage, dating back hundreds of millions of years, capable of generating bite forces exceeding 3,600 psi. Or the box jellyfish, a gelatinous organism whose sting can induce cardiac arrest in minutes. Students flinched as images of venomous snakes, large carnivores, and microscopic parasites were displayed. A Velari student raised a hand. "Instructor, are these predators controlled by humans now?" "Like domesticated creatures?" Threx chuckled. "Not quite. Even today, humans suffer fatalities from these creatures. Earth is a world where danger is ambient. It is not a question of if, but when nature will strike." Another image appeared, a wildfire engulfing a Californian forest. Natural disasters occur regularly. Wildfires, hurricanes, earthquakes, even viral pandemics. And yet, humans adapt. They not only survive, they thrive. Humanity, the apex predator, the next slide showed. A human soldier. Battle-worn, carrying an injured comrade. The room went quiet. "Humans," Threx said, "are not biologically dominant. They lack claws, fangs, and exoskeletal armor. They are not the fastest, strongest, or even the most resilient in terms of raw physical endurance. But they compensate with intellect, adaptability, and social cooperation." He paced slowly, They mastered fire over 1 million years ago, developed agriculture 10,000 years ago, created complex societies and then fractured them in wars, yet rebuilt stronger each time. Their greatest weapon? Imagination. Marcus listened, his face expressionless. They build machines to fly, to swim, to reach beyond their world. And when faced with extinction-level events, they innovate. Nuclear energy, genetic engineering, space colonization. No other species has advanced so rapidly under such adverse conditions. A hologram of a human brain replaced the soldier. No creature has weaponized its environment like Homo sapiens. They bend it to their will. Fear and fascination, but it is not just their biology or technology that makes them dangerous. Threx continued, it is their psychology. Another student, a crystalline Cyrilix, raised a hand. Do you mean their capacity for violence? Not just violence, Threx said. Choice. Humans can choose to help or harm. They form ethical frameworks, yet they break them. They feel empathy, yet wage wars. It is this duality that baffles even our most advanced simulations. He pulled up a historical clip. World War II. Scenes of horror, heroism, sacrifice, and devastation played, then transitioned to the moon landing. Same species, same century. The room was silent. And yet, Threx said softly, when the Varnock invaded the frontier worlds, who were the first to send aid? Humans. When the Draxian plague swept across 3 sectors, whose doctors volunteered without hesitation? Again, humans. He turned toward the class. They are capable of great destruction, but they are also capable of breathtaking kindness. That is what makes them dangerous. Not their power, but their unpredictability. The human speaks a low voice. Broke the silence. Permission to speak, instructor. All eyes turned. Marcus Hayes stood slowly. Threx blinked. Granted, Cadet Hayes. Marcus stepped forward. His voice was calm, but every word carried weight. You've explained this well, sir, but you're missing something. Threx tilted his head. And what is that? Context. We didn't choose to evolve. On a Deathworld, we had to. Every adaptation, every invention, every act of desperation was survival, not superiority. He glanced around the room. You call us monsters because we can destroy. But on Earth, survival often requires violence. The difference is we learn from it. A few students shifted uncomfortably. We build memorials for the dead. We write books about peace. We train soldiers not just to fight, but to protect. And when the Varnock came, we didn't hesitate, not because we wanted war, but because we remembered what it's like to be helpless. He paused. Humans aren't monsters, we're mirrors. We show the galaxy what it fears most in its self-potential. Reactions and reflections. There was no applause, no laughter. Just quiet realization that the Valari student who had spoken earlier raised a tentacle. Cadet Hayes, how do you live with the knowledge of what your species is capable of? Marcus gave a faint smile. By trying to be better than yesterday. That's all any of us can do. Threx nodded slowly. Perhaps, he said thoughtfully, we focus too much on the monsters and not enough on the choices they make. He turned off the projector. Class dismissed. After the lesson, as students filed out, several lingered near Marcus. Some asked questions. Others simply nodded in respect. Threx approached him. You handled that well, Cadet. Thank you, sir. Do you believe your people will always choose the better path? Marcus looked up at the stars visible through the dome ceiling. We won't always get it right, but we'll keep trying. That's what makes us human. Epilogue. The monster in the room. The lesson would go down as one of the most talked about in Interstellar Institute history. The day they didn't just learn about Deathworld monsters, they heard from one. And discovered he was more than just a survivor of a hostile world. He was a protector, a student, a symbol of something the galaxy had never quite understood. Hope. because sometimes the most dangerous being in the room isn't there to harm you. Quiet watcher later that evening. As the Institute's lights dimmed and students retreated to their respective quarters, Marcus remained in the observation dome. The stars above glistened like diamonds scattered across velvet. Beside him, a small datapad glowed softly with information about upcoming lectures. But he wasn't reading, he was thinking. The conversation had stirred something in him. Not anger or pride, but a deep, bone-level awareness of how alone humans truly were in the grand scope of things. They were the anomaly, the outliers. Born on a world that punished weakness and sharpened intelligence like a blade, and yet, here, he was, learning, listening, hoping. Behind him, quiet footsteps approached. It was Lyra, the Villari student. Cadet Hayes? I wanted to thank you. What you said, it changed how I see your people. Marcus offered a small smile. I'm glad. That's why I'm here. Not just to learn about others, but to help others learn. About us, the real us. She hesitated. May I ask, are there truly monsters on Earth, ones even you fear? He paused, then nodded. Double quotes, yes, but not the kind you think. Our real monsters wear faces like ours. And that's why we work so hard every day to be better. So they don't win. She nodded thoughtfully and left into the stars. Marcus exhaled slowly, the weight of both his heritage and his responsibility resting on his shoulders like a silent burden. He wasn't just representing Earth. He was reminding the galaxy that even monsters can choose the light.